Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Honest Plan Podcast. I am your host, Tiana Hicks. And you guys, I am so excited because, first of all, one day I'm going to find another word to say, but I'm always excited when I come and I get to, record a podcast and talk to you guys. But I'm excited because before I hit record on this podcast, I was like, let me check my analytics for some reason. I haven't checked them in like 2 weeks or so. I checked and we have hit 1,000 downloads. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Cannot believe it. I just love you guys so much. And I feel like over the last week or so, I've gotten a lot of feedback on the podcast and people are just telling me oh my goodness, there's so many different nuggets that I take away from listening to the podcast. So I love you guys. You guys are the best. We're here to stay. We're locked in. We're family at this point. So just grab a seat, grab some popcorn. I don't know. We're in this together. And you guys, now that you're a part of the tribe, if there's ever a topic that you guys want to talk about or a guest that you guys want to see on the podcast, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm an open book. I love to talk to you guys. So you can do so by just reaching out to me on Instagram at The Honest Plan. But let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. I feel like it's going to be a good one. We are going to talk about avoiding financial burnout. This past week, I've been doing market research. And I do this every now and then just to get an idea of what my target audience are going through. What are you needing in this season? What are some hurdles? So when it comes to my marketing and when it comes to me actually putting out new products, I know that I'm fulfilling a specific need, and it's not just something that I like, but no, it's something that my target audience likes, because when you guys are in business, you're not the one that is buying the product. You can like the product all day long. You can think it's the best thing since sliced bread. But if you are not speaking the language of your audience, or if they do not resonate with it, it's going to be crickets. I've had to learn that the hard way multiple times from different failed launches. So now I'm let me just ask the people. Let me get on the phone, talk to my peeps, and just see what's going on. So one thing that has come up a lot is that my people are experiencing financial burnout. And that is when you're on your financial journey, you're so excited, things are on the up and up, and then something happens and you're what is this? I feel like I'm starting over from ground zero. I'm overwhelmed. I just want to throw in the towel. I don't want anything else to do with this. Just get me out of here because it's ghetto. And I'm okay, what are some things that I can do to actually help? Help talk you guys through this season that you might be in, or even if you're not in it, just so that you have the tools if this ever were to happen. What do I need to do to get myself back in shape? And the first thing that I would say to you is to get crystal clear on your why. Why are you even doing this? Why are you even going on this journey? And your why has to be something that is bigger than you. Has to be bigger than money. If you're only on this journey to save $10,000, you don't even know why you're saving it, I'm here to tell you the first time that life throws you any type of curveball, you are going to fumble. You're going to fumble because your why is not strong enough. It has to be something that keeps you going. Something that on the days where you are I do not feel like working overtime. I do not feel like putting extra money towards my credit cards or whatever. It has to be something that will spark a light under your butt and be no, but I have to do it. And I understand that this is a temporary sacrifice. I understand I am making temporary sacrifices in this season for a larger gain in the next. It has to be something large. So first, I want you to just take some time and just to figure out, okay, what is that why for me? Then let's get organized. Let's figure out exactly where your money is going, exactly what is due, exactly what financial responsibilities you have, so you don't always feel like things are just happening. Life is just happening to me. No, life is not just happening. That credit card company like sent you an email 2 weeks ago and told you that the bill was due, or you knew that you were coming up on an oil change, you knew that your tires were starting to look a little flat, like it didn't just happen. You're just not being organized, you're not paying attention to details, you are just out here winging it. And that is an easy way to feel burnt out. If you don't have any structure in your life, nor no organization, you are just out here winging it, you're going to feel like life is just always throwing you curveballs. Everyone else is winning, but for some reason you cannot like get on track. You may be unorganized. Like, do you know exactly how much you make? One thing that my pastor says all the time, and he says for us to like keep track of our debt number. Like, keep it in your pocket. Like, if somebody were to ever come up to you and say, hey, I would love to pay off all your debt, like everything, the house, the car, the student loans, the this, the that, will you be able to tell them exactly how much you owe? Like, he's like, know the number to the cents. Like, be that organized, be that in tune with your money, that if someone were to come up to you today and say, Tiana, I want to write a check to pay off everything that you owe, will I know the number? If not, that means I'm not in tune to what is going on with my life financially. And that does not mean every single week you need to go and update your number, but you need to be having money dates. And money dates are not just something that you do when you're in a relationship. Money dates is something that you can do with just yourself. A money date can look like the first Monday or the first Friday of every month. I am going to sit down. I'm going to pour me a nice glass of wine. I'm going to set up my music how I like it. And I am going to assess my finances. I'm going to figure out exactly how much I made. Did I do overtime? Did I pick up any side gigs? I'm going to see exactly the money that came out. And this is huge. You guys, you have to be looking at your statements at least once a month, because I will tell you, I find often, like very often, I find where companies overcharge me. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had a company that I have been like in service with for about 2 years now, and they accidentally overcharged me. They said that something came out in the system where for some reason it charged all their customers twice. They felt like they, did a nice scan, went in and like refund everyone who was like a victim to this, but for some reason my account was overlooked. Like, they didn't catch it. I had to call them. I told them what had happened. They credited me the full balance back and gave me the next month for free. Just because I take the time and look at my account, I figure out, what's coming in, what's going out every single month. Like, and they, like, it wasn't a fuss. I didn't have to fuss with them. They were like, oh, okay, Mr. Six, we're so sorry about it. This is what happened. For the inconvenience for you having to get on the phone and call us and wait on hold. I didn't even wait on hold, but they were like, because you had to wait on hold, we're going to refund you that whole amount and credit your next month free. I said, sis, you better do God's work. You better do God's work. Go ahead and, sign me up. And I've always had great service with them. I didn't call and like was upset or anything. I just wanted to figure out, like, did my payments increase and I just like overlooked the email or overlooked the mail. But no, it was just an accident. Get organized, get organized, get organized, get organized. So you do not feel like life is just happening, because it's not. It's a pattern. It's a system. You just do not have a system, any structure, any boundaries for yourself. The third thing I want you to do is to create a game plan that will help you pay bills before they are due. When you're on this journey, or if you're in a season where you're like, I'm just kind of like living paycheck to paycheck. I feel like I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. Getting those emails like from the different services that you have to pay for, getting the emails where they're like, hey, your bill is due, your bill is due, or hey, the payment did not go through. Oh my goodness, I feel like it puts such a heavy weight on your shoulders. Like, you can already know that the bill is due. You can already know like that the payment is not going to go through, or that you don't have enough funds in your account. But it's something about getting that email from the provider that like adds all of this unwanted weight on your shoulders. I don't know what it is, but I've experienced that so many times, and it feels like it knocks you down. Like, it feels like, yes, I know that this was already going to happen. Yes, I know I'm trying my best, like, to do all the things, but getting that email or getting that mail come through and having to read it, it makes you feel like everything that you've been doing is not good enough. And you do not want to feel like that. Like, you want to create atmospheres that encourage you to keep going, that don't drain you. So, what are some systems or what are some things that you can put in place to avoid those type of interactions? So, maybe it's like, okay, my bills are due, like I have a specific bill that's due on the 15th. Instead of like figuring out how you're going to pay the bill on the 14th, let's go ahead and like start thinking about it a week, 2 weeks in advance. So instead of you saying my bill is due on the 15th, let's start like condition yourself to say my bill is due on the 7th. So once the 7th comes around, you already have the money in your account ready to go. And that might look like you picking up some side gigs to make sure every month, at least a week in advance, I have the money already here, ready to go. I don't have to worry about like if I'm going to have enough, where is the money going to come from, all of this, especially on the bigger bills. So your car payment, your rent, you know those are due every single month. Stop waiting until like 4 days before to figure out how you're going to come up with $1,200. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe to get burnt out. If you are trying to come up with something large, a large amount of money within less than a week, you are asking to be burnt out. You are asking like to feel defeated. Do not put that type of weight and that type of pressure on yourself. Plan in advance. Create systems and atmospheres to make yourself feel encouraged. Like, stop putting yourself in a predicament where you're feeling less than, where you're feeling like I just can't do it. You can do it. You're just not being proactive. You're being reactive all the time. Like, you're waiting until the last minute to get things done. In this journey, that is not going to help you. And I shared a little bit about this on Instagram Live a few weeks ago, because I feel like sometimes we go through stages in our life where past experiences or past behaviors make us not believe in ourselves, like make us second guess our word. And sometimes, like a time where I've experienced that is like for school. In school, like in high school and college, I experienced a lot of different things, which made me kind of put school on the back burner, or like feel like I don't have to put my all into this. And so I went from being like an AB honor roll student in like elementary and middle school to getting to high school and being like, it is what it is. And then getting to college, and then I was like, C's get degrees. Yeah, it was not a great thing. It was not a great thing. And now that I'm older and I look back on it, I'm like, why did you do that? Like, I wish you would have buckled down. Like, I wish you could have done this and like set yourself up for success. But it looked like every single semester or every single year, I would go into the year all like organized and ready to go. Like I would have my syllabus printed out. I would have, like I would write the due dates of all of my assignments on my agenda. And I'm like, this semester is going to be different. This semester is going to be different. I'm going to walk out of my classes with A's. I'm going to prioritize my stuff. I'm going to, do my homework way before it's due. I'm not going to wait until 11:59 to turn in assignments. I was like making these promises to myself. About second month of the semester, I was back to doing the same old thing. I was back to waiting to 11:30 to take a quiz. I was submitting homework like at the bar with my friends. I was just doing reckless stuff. And so what I did was I conditioned myself to not trust my word. And so now I'm in grad school, and a goal of mine is to graduate with like a 3.5. I would love to be able to graduate with a 3.5. And my past behavior has been really triggering for me. Because now I'm like, well, sis, you said that before. You said that before and you didn't do it. Like, can I trust you this time? Are you going to do what you said you were going to do? So I've been having to unlearn bad behavior so that I can grow in this new chapter of life. Because I'm like, those old habits didn't fit me well. It didn't set me up for success. And I know as I get older, I'm going to have to shave that type of behavior. 11:59 behavior will not give me a 3.5. It will not. So I'm having to learn how to trust myself again. Learn how to, Tiana, this is a goal of yours. You know that you have homework due on Saturday. Your friends also might ask you for brunch, to go to brunch. So what that looks like is Thursday night, before the weekend even starts, you need to have your homework done. It's a non-negotiable. And what has been helping me is telling people my goals. I told my husband, I told my friends. And so now my husband will say to me, if someone asks me to do something on a Saturday and I haven't done my homework yet, he'll say, don't you have homework? Didn't you say that you wanted to make this certain grade? Why would you go out if your homework's not done yet? Do your homework and then you can go out. And sometimes you need someone to check you. Sometimes you need someone to check you because sometimes we feel like we're too grown. I don't need anyone to tell me anything. I got it. No, you need a community. You need accountability. You need someone to check you when you are wrong. Sometimes you're wrong and sometimes you need someone to check you. You need someone to tell you, no, that's not what you said. That's not what you said. These are the goals that you had and you're not fulfilling them. You're not living up to your full potential. And as your friend, as your spouse, as your family member, I don't want to sit here and see you be less than the person that I know you can be. Sometimes you need that person that is going to be hard on you and tell you like it is. If you want a community of yes men, what you're saying to yourself is, it's okay for me to play small. It's okay for me to be mediocre. And I'm a person, that's not okay for me. That's not okay for me because I see myself oh my goodness, I see this podcast growing. I see my business growing. I see me being on stages with some amazing people, some people that I look up to. Me being on stages with them and being a part of a panel discussion, people that I looked up to prior to even getting up here, me being on the same playing field as them. So I can't afford to play small. I can't afford to have people around me that agree with everything that I do. I need some people around me that will say, yeah, that was good, but this is how it could have been better. And if you don't want that, will you really reach your full potential? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. The next thing that I want you to do is to be okay with taking bite-sized sacrifices. bite-sized sacrifices. Also, with doing my market research this week, I've learned that a lot of people want to gain a large reward with very little or no sacrifice at all. You want the house, you want the amazing credit score, you want the decked out savings account with no sacrifice. You don't want to have to decide between brunch and paying a little bit extra on your credit card. You do not want to have to decide between staying 2 hours late for work or going out to eat with your friends. Like, there has to be a season of sacrifice. It does not mean like ramen noodles every single day, but bit-sized sacrifices for a long-term gain. It has to be a season of sacrifice. I was on TikTok and this creator was talking about the book. I have it. It's somewhere around here, but the book, I think it's called The Art of Not Giving a F. I think that's the name of it. It's something along those lines, but it talks about, I just rented it from the library like last week, so I haven't started reading it yet, but she was talking about it on TikTok, and she was sharing that it talks about what you have to give up in order to earn success. Like, success is not only thinking about what I'm going to gain, or I'm going to be up here, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to make all of this money, I am going to be able to provide for my family. But on the other side of that, it's like, but in order to get this, I'm giving up what? Like, you might give up your social life for a season. You might give up being able to go to all of like the family gatherings and all of the cookouts for this season, so that in the next season, like when everyone is still in the same boat, you're able to say like, this is why I was gone for this long. Like, when I wasn't able to go to your birthday party this year, and I wasn't able to go to Cancun, on our friend's trip, because I was able to do this instead. I just had to put my head down. I had to work at it for a season. And if you lose friends along the way, honey, those friends were not meant for you anyway. Let's keep it a band. If you lose friends in the season of sacrifice, they weren't meant to go on this journey with you regardless. And I've had to learn that just because like you've had friends in high school and college, as you grow and mature, it's common, it's necessary to shed people along the way. And that's fine. It's no hard feelings or nothing, but everyone is not here to go to the next season with you. So what are you willing to give up to gain financial freedom, to grow your business, to be the one person in your family to really change the trajectory of your whole like legacy, your whole generations to come next? Like, there has to be someone that is willing to make a sacrifice to really take you all to the next level. Why not you? Like, you have what it takes. And the last thing that I want to leave you guys with, because I don't want this episode to be like all long and drawn out, but I want it to be short, sweet. Here are the points, and this is what you need to do. But the last thing that I want you to do is to understand that you're not on this journey alone. Like, do not take on the battle and the burden on your own, but allow God to go on it with you. Like, I can't even express to you guys like where I was last year and where I am today. But like, a promise that I made to myself this year is I don't want to be anywhere where God's not. I don't want to be anywhere that God has not ordained for me, because it is a dark, a scary, and an alone place. It's very lonely to be somewhere where God has not called you to be. But going on that journey with him, while it might be hard, it's comforting. Like, even on this season where I'm like doing full-time entrepreneurship, there have been times, many of times, that I have like cried or I've wondered like, okay, what's next? But never have I felt alone. Never have I felt alone. Never have I felt like I had to figure it out on my own. And it also gives me comfort in knowing that I don't have to know what's next. I don't have to know, okay, this is first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. Like giving up that type of control to let God lead me on this next journey, and understanding that I am being obedient, I'm doing the best that I can, allows the burden not to be on me. Like, it allows me to free up that type of weight. Something that someone says at like my church a lot is, if it's God's will, it's his bill. Meaning, if he has called you to do this, or if he has placed it in your heart, like to be the one person in your family to absolutely change the trajectory of how things are going, it is his bill to make it happen. As long as you're doing what you can do, like as long as you're not just sitting on your butt and you're just saying like, I'm just waiting on God to make it happen for you, but you're actually out there working, you're moving, you're giving him something to work with. Watch him show up in your life. Watch him show up in your life. So in this journey, connect with God. Like, get into your Bible, get into like small groups at your church. Even if you don't have a church, like plug into different services and find your group of people. There are people out there that understand where you're going. There are churches out there like that can pour into you and to lead you into this next journey of your life, but you do not have to do it alone. So those are some things that I want you guys to implement if you are feeling like I'm burnt out in this journey. Like, what do I do? What are some things that I'm doing wrong? What are some things that I can do better? So these are some things that I wish I would have known, like when I was first starting out, like when I was like, 16? Or when I was in college. So I hope this episode was good. I hope you guys found something that you can implement in your life today. I would love you guys to rate and review this podcast if you haven't. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube. You guys, I record every episode in video too. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do subscribe. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.